Hey there, so today I want to return to that wonderful world called Twitter. Just kidding, this place is an absolute cesspool. But interestingly, even a cesspool can be very enlightening. For example, if you look at how many people have actually responded to this in some way, you see almost 3,000 likes associated with this post. You see 876 retweets at the moment, and all because someone decides they're going to give their idea of what litigation should entail. Unfortunately, it seems like most people don't understand what legal documents look like. They think that defamation, well, I don't know what they think it looks like exactly. I mean, when we look at other defamation cases, for example, not talking about Vic Mignogna, but if we looked at another one, like say the Jeffrey Rush one where he was awarded $2 million in a defamation case, which is a record for Australia, what he had said about him was he was a predator and that he was a pervert. You can see that. Sexual predator and pervert. So you have articles that are arguing these two facts. And well, he gets $2 million out of that. Now, when you look at these statements said on Twitter, you have to remember that it belongs to a broader context. We're talking about lawsuit that talks about company and also other people getting together, brigading, and trying to destroy someone. They try to defame in order to do damage, which we'll talk about in just a minute. So you can see this post here. Jesus Christ, I can't wait for the rest of this document to become available. Vic's effing lawyers are setting themselves up to be annihilated off the face of the earth in the funniest effing way I've ever seen. So, looking at this document here, you can see exactly what it records. It records specific tweets. On February 15th, 2019 at 10:13 a.m. and 10:15 a.m., you tweeted, Vic admits he wronged multiple women multiple times, and he says with his own words he messed up. Mr. Mignogna has never admitted to wronging women multiple times in any format, nor is saying he messed up an admission of guilt. Thus, your statement is defamatory and false. On February 16th, 2019 at 8:53 a.m. you tweeted, let's see who walks away a registered sex offender. Not only is this statement false and defamatory, but as has occurred multiple times in your multiple statements, you are indicating that Mr. Mignogna is a criminal engaged in criminal behavior. At 9:03 a.m. you indicated that Mr. Mignogna is quote-unquote intimidating people. Yet another false and defamatory statement because Mr. Mignogna was not engaged with social media during this time. Furthermore, you are indicating falsely that Mr. Mignogna is engaged in obstruction of justice by stating that he intimidated people, which would be criminal activity and behavior. At 9:30 a.m., you stated that's why he is fired from every major studio. Funimation and Rooster Teeth are not the only studios in the anime business in the world. Thus, your statement is blatantly false and therefore defamatory. At 9:57 a.m., you stated, what do you think his lawyers would think knowing he has admitted his guilt on multiple occasions? Mr. Mignogna has not ever admitted guilt, much less on multiple occasions. Thus, his statement is defamatory and false. On February 19th, 2019, at 8:31 a.m., you stated, Monica did nothing wrong. That effing piece of shit did. This statement is defamatory and false because Mr. Mignogna is not a piece of shit. That is another word for feces. Thus, it is impossible for him to be a quote-unquote piece of shit, nor did he commit any crime as, and it's cut off there. Now, people found this last statement funny, and okay, I can see that. But looking at this, I mean, really, looking at what's said here, you see all of the lies that are thrown out. And these lies, they hurt someone. They hurt their reputation, not their fee-fees. They don't hurt them in that way. You're not calling them an idiot or a moron or a shoe-eater or anything like that. No, you're calling them, well, you're calling them a predator. You're calling them a criminal. You're saying they're going to walk away a registered sex offender. Now, people in the comments here, of course, this same person, the Vic stands in my mention right now. And wow, we get this very, very timely meme. In 1492, this meme sailed the ocean blue. I swear. Then we see, of course, people that are laughing about this statement. And again, I could see people having a laugh out of that. But you see all of these folks that think that this stuff is a joke, because, of course, they don't understand what exactly you're trying to do with these things. They don't understand what you're trying to say. It reads like he is being represented by his 14-year-old brother or something. The formatting only enhances the effect, by the way. I hope they realize it's a defamation case and not a defecation case. Exactly. You see all of that. But every time that you look through that, you see all of these people saying, what exactly do I think about that? Well, I don't think that it's real. Why don't you think that it's real? Because there was a funny statement at the end of it. Now, if you've ever looked up what exactly harming another person's reputation looks like, here's what we're talking about. Publishing information that harms another's reputation. This is from Media Law Project. When you publish online, whether it's a blog, podcast, video uploaded to YouTube, or simply in a comment on another's website, you may say or do something that harms the reputation of another person, group, or organization. Fortunately, not everything you publish that harms the reputation of others will open you up to legal liability. For example, you won't generally face legal liability if you simply state your opinion, even if your opinion is harsh, critical, or wildly off base. Now, it's important, of course, that you understand what opinion is so you can look that up on your own. Nevertheless, if you find yourself about to publish something that could harm another's reputation, you should spend some time familiarizing yourself with the various laws that protect reputation. The sections that follow are not intended to make you an expert on libel law, but merely to help you identify potential red flags, so when you publish something that might negatively impact the reputation of another person, group, or organization, you will know to be extra careful and will take the necessary steps to minimize your potential legal liability. First, ask yourself whether you intend to publish would upset you if someone else were to publish that information about you. This simple test won't tell you for sure whether you will be liable if the information you publish turns out to be false, but it will get you focused on the statement that should be the greatest concern. Now think about those statements there. Would it upset the person that went out and said, and I quote, going back here, think about this again while we're rolling back. But would it upset a person to be called, say, a registered sex offender? To say that someone had wronged women multiple times? Of course it would. Any type of blowback these people have gotten, where people have said the same types of things to them. They said, hey, you're going to have a visit from my lawyer. So they showcased over and over that they saw the harm that was done in that. And yet, moreover, putting aside the legal implication of whatever you publish, statements that upset others are more likely to draw their ire and result in a lawsuit, even when they don't actually have a viable claim. Depending on what you say and how you do it, you are likely need to concern yourself with two different but related legal doctrines that aim to protect against reputational harm. Now here you have defamation. Defamation is the general term for a legal claim involving injury to one's reputation caused by false statements of fact that include both libel and slander. The crux of a defamation claim is falsity. Truthful statements that harm another's reputation will not create liability for defamation, although they may open you up to other forms of liability, and the information you publish is of a personal or highly highly private nature. So when you look at that, does it meet all of that? Well, truthful statements. They keep telling us they're going to be able to prove this stuff. But again, what has Ron actually witnessed out there? Well, he hasn't witnessed anything. All of this stuff, second, third hand, fourth hand. My cousin's uncle's brother's garbage man said that Vic Mignogna one day massaged their toes. Yeah, those kind of posts out there. Then you have false light. False light is similar to defamation. Claims for false light generally involve untrue implications rather than directly false statements. So you can see the way that they put these together, and you understand why exactly that was put together, what exactly happens there, and this talks more about the idea of anti-SLAPP law, which really was an interesting thing to add here because we actually saw that discussed too. But still, this gives you an idea about harm to reputation, what exactly transpired, and whether or not Vic Mignogna was harmed by the things that were said here, plus hundreds of other statements. Now, Vic Mignogna, when we look at him, he lost not only his jobs one place, but two places, but also he lost convention after convention. He became a pariah. He had people attaching words like P to the E to the D to the O to him, which this person stated in him doing wrong things to quote-unquote girls. There's plenty of statements out there that showcase this, and pretending that stuff, that this was not meant to do harm, that this was just kind of a statement of fact. Yeah, there's wrongdoing in that. The person that did that knew there was wrongdoing in it. But of course, they kept daring people to take them to court because, hey, it's going to cost you a lot of money and it's going to damage you in the end. Well, guess what? They did that. We ended up there, and yeah, here we are. But anyhow, I thought I would showcase this because I thought I would show exactly how uninformed the lay person is when you look at this kind of stuff, how exactly they react to it, and what kind of misinformation certain people put out there. Because there were some people that put out some misinformation attached to that, and it was absolutely insane the way that they tried to roll this forward and the way that it rolled out in public. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out too, and whether or not, at the end of the day, we see that go away, or we see it roll up something like this, where not only companies have to pay, but individuals have to pay as well. But anyhow, you tell me what you think about this kind of stuff. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you're subbed, hitting that bell for daily notifications, and checking out the links in the description that include this, The Case of the Littlest Umbrella. This is our all ages Lovecraftian tale. We also have another comic book attached, 2 comic books, 1 message, and that message says we can compete too. Many people will try to hold you back, tell you that you can't, but yeah, you've got to keep competing. Let me know what you think about the video here. Let me know what you think about all of the insanity and misinformation, pro or con. You don't have to agree. Just let me know what you think about that. Also, I want to end by saying that I appreciate you as more and more people forget how they got there, how they actually have any kind of platform to begin with, how their endeavors actually become fulfilled, like the book in front of you. I want to thank you because I know that folks like yourself make that possible. So I want to end by saying thank you, I appreciate you, and we'll do this again very soon.